Big Dumb Fun Show. We are live Mondays, 7 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. The rest of the week, you can watch the show. It's in replay right there at BigDumbFunShow.com. Of course, segments from the show do appear on air elsewhere around the country, like the Useless News. You can hear that on KKFI Tuesdays after midnight.
Yes, blank
on
tapes.
The High Voltage Rock and Roll Radio Show. You hear a rebroadcast of this episode on the Kansas City Local Artist Radio, Wednesdays at noon, courtesy of Paul Chandler.
Plus, blank tapes of this broadcast can be found wherever blank tapes are sold. We are in studio with Scott and Mike from 902 Sound and Film Studios, and from your studio to ours, welcome back to the Big Dumb Fun Show, guys. Just previewing some of the tracks. In fact, what was the track that we went out to was Odd-O-Matic, and that was a mix that you guys did in-house.
That's the song that they did the music video for.
And so when it comes to, did you produce the music for that? Okay, so you did the music first, I assume.
Yes, we did.
And then you go, hey, we want to do a video. Or did the band say that? Or did you twist their arm to it? Or did you say, hey?
The started actually was the video first. What happened is Graham from Automatic, I'd met with him in December, and he had the song. Actually, they've had pretty much an album worth of material, and they wanted to go ahead and do a video for one of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So we had discussed the idea of doing that, but then on hearing the song, we thought,
You're like, man, that really sounds like crap.
Well, no.
You said it without
but
saying
it. Could be better,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So we thought, let's go ahead and re-record this, and then one song turned into an entire album. Like, if we're going to do this, we may as well just match.
Oh, you did the whole album, not just that song.
Right. The whole album. We went ahead and did Read a Book, which will be out in, a week or less, August 1st, I think.
So when did you decide, hey, we're producing some tracks here. We're doing great on the sound, but now we want to move into the video aspect. I would assume that'd be a big jump, but not so much.
Not so much. No, I mean we've been dealing with audio and visual stuff for so long that it was just kind of one of those things where a certain point happens where you say, well, let's just go ahead and do this professionally. I mean, we've been doing this for fun for so long, and just for our own, entertainment, we can compete here.
And for your own projects.
Right. Yeah, we started doing. It wasn't what we were doing. Would be considered kind of like a music video, but not necessarily. I mean, there was a couple of times that Mike had come up with some concept for some funny little YouTube videos,
Yeah.
And he got these high def cameras, top quality, and he was like, "Well, this would be really funny to do this, and then we'll go ahead and write the music to it." So they went ahead and wrote some music to it, and then we worked on the sound production of it. And after, like you said, after Automatic saw, just our funny little YouTube videos, they were like, well, can you guys shoot us a video? And that was like you said, we'd been playing with it for so long, and then we were like, well, we're going to be shooting this video in high def, and it's going to be like really nice footage. So we want to make the quality of the audio match the video.
Right.
And so, like Mike said, it's just they came over to the studio, and they got in there with us, and at first they were. I think
they're really creative guys.
Yeah,
too.
they
absolutely,
are.
Yeah.
And I think they were a little nervous to kind of release, because we have the studio, we have all the experience, but our studio in and of itself is new because we've always worked in other studios.
Yeah.
And so they were a little nervous, and then once they came over and they saw the studio, and they were like, wow, this is a real recording studio. This isn't some guy with a microphone in a closet. This is the real deal.
A lot of people have a studio, and it'll be something in the basement.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Watch your mouth, you son of
a minute.
My God.
But,
let me.
I like to call it the lower level.
Absolutely.
You don't
This is
actually
the
go
upper
below-
echelon. This is
Yeah.
not a closet. It's an unused room in a building. But let's talk about how you go to when it comes to an idea for a song, and then they're like, "Oh, this should be a video," and a lot of folks are doing that nowadays. How does the process work? Do you create a storyboard like an animation or like a regular motion picture?
Right.
Like, we want to do this. We want to film these shots. We want to do this. Is there animation involved? Since the one guy just complete animating freak. So he kind of knew the process a little bit. I would assume, right?
Right.
Yeah. Essentially, when we worked with Automatic, they just kind of. It was really easy to work with them. Like you said, they're really creative guys, and they had this vision in their head, and
Then it was pretty clear what they wanted.
Yeah, they were just kind of like, okay, well, this is what we want to do. Now, what can you do with this idea? What are your concepts, your directions, your angles, your
right,
shots?
they kind of gave us a lot of freedom to just go ahead and take this idea and what can you do with it.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Whereas other people will strict to the book. They wanted exactly like this, shot for shot, frame for frame. They wanted, their vision to be captured in this way. They were kind of like, okay, go ahead and run with this idea. So that's what we did. But generally, I mean, you get a storyboard idea, so we work with them. They write it down. I mean, and it is like that, animation. You go ahead and shot by shot, scene by scene, you kind of go ahead and morph the story down on paper. And then from there, you start writing down exactly how it's going to go and how it should flow. And
so, and then you can, after that, it's mainly just, once you get the idea and the storyboard down, it mainly just comes down to camera angles and lighting and just
and getting the right location,
effects and whatnot.
Right, and then the real joy is the editing process.
Post production, right? Always fun.
Sit there and you've got this giant, massive amount of footage, and you can go ahead and you can run with it. So
and it's all very large because it's in high definition and it's
huge files,
taking up lots of space on your hard drive.
It used to be, it could have been, in the older days when they used celluloid, it'd be like just. You couldn't really shoot nearly as much. Like now, everything's digital. It's just a matter of how much battery you have, how much hard drive space you have, and you can get a lot of source material to work from.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you can shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot.
Yeah, and within the story, even though you have a storyline written out, you know exactly how it's supposed to flow. Within that story, there's another story. So you can make it turn one way prematurely, or you can make it go a different direction. So you really have. This it's like a palette in front of you, and you can paint this thing any way you want to. So it puts a lot on your shoulders while you're editing.
Hopefully, it just doesn't end up a big stinker at the end.
Right?
Is the video out for that now?
For automatic?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's out, but of course, Monster is and that'll be your next project, or are you working on one now?
No,
that'll be our next one.
That'll be the big next project. Red Velvet Crush. They have their single Monster, and they did an acoustic of it, and it was insane. And it's I can't imagine, as creative as those gals and guy are, how great this is going to be. And they said it's kind of a Victorian style thing. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Is that what they had mentioned?
Yeah.
Where are you going to shoot that? Do you know? Or
we're not quite sure yet.
We have a couple locations we're looking at right now, and one prospect that looks like it may be the location, but nothing definite yet.
Now, when it comes to folks just joining us now, we're in studio with Scott and Mike from 902 Sound and Film Studios. It's on Facebook.com/902 Sound and Film Studios. You can just search it, you'll find it, and you'll find out exactly what they're doing. Where is 902 Sound and Film Studios?
We're up in Leavenworth, Kansas.
Okay, so it's an actual studio.
Yes.
If they're wanting to come and get some work done, they just go up there. Do they need to schedule? I assume they schedule. They email you. How do they get a hold of you? If there's something, you're a band out there, we have an audience out there, very musical, a lot of bands. If they want to say, hey, we need to make the next step.
Yeah.
We need to come up with either solidifying our sound, or we want to add a music video element and put it up on the YouTubes. Who do we contact? They contact you, and how do they do so?
Easiest way would be the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then if they want to contact us by phone, it's area code 913-651-7003. And website is in the works right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, not only by bands out there and getting stuff in studio, you're also going out and about with some event photography and videography. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, constantly.
So if you have a wedding coming up, you're the guys to call.
Right.
Yeah, essentially.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing. It's funny because the studio had been a dream, and we planned on doing it. The audio studio. But the whole thing actually birthed out of a joke because we had all this band equipment, and we were like, well, let's go ahead and start DJing. And then he goes and gets the cameras, and he's like, well, let's go ahead and add
the
videography and photography, and we'll do events like weddings and everything.
And these are things that we've done for so long, but professionally, it just got to a turning point where we're like, why aren't we doing this professionally? I mean, we've been doing this forever, so.
And so then it evolved from that into the audio. The audio studio was in the works already. It evolved from that into actually the music videos and even just any kind of videography or photography. Just.
Is there anything you guys won't do? Do you have any lines?
Windows.
No windows?
Windows, no laundry, and we're not going to do that. Like, for instance, somebody comes up and like, hey, I'm looking for a studio. I'm looking to film an adult video. Are you guys up for that? Is that something that you're willing to do?
I've not been asked that question.
But if I'm asking right now, okay, say I'm not asking. Say someone much more sexier is.
You haven't heard it. His porn star name is actually Mike Rofone.
Mike Rofone. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. It's Scott and Mike from 902 Sound and Film Studios. Look them up on Facebook and give them a call if you want to make your own music video.